Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ladies of the PGS. I am your host, and of course, we have with us today Lorena Creole. Lorena, how are you tonight?
I am doing well, and so glad to be here with all of you here on the Burnettwork and excited about our show.
Absolutely, Lorena. And there is so much to talk about. And of course, the big news, the huge news, the incredible news, the news that's been dominating all weekend, the news that people can't stop talking about is John Wick Part 4. Now, Lorena, I've got to be honest with you. Some major things happened to me this week, and I haven't been able to go see the film, but you have seen the film. Tom Jr. Jackson has seen the film. Our friend Catherine Cook, a friend of the channel, a PGS member, has seen the film four times. She's seen it four times in the theater. Lorena, people don't just go and see movies four times for no reason. Lorena, please tell us what you thought of John Wick Chapter 4, which has made, and it's probably made more than this, but it's made reportedly $138 million, which is like an incredible amount of money for any film.
Yes.
What did you think
Oh
of the
my
film?
God, where to start? First of all, if you thought chapter 4 wouldn't be able to top the other three, dead wrong. Dead wrong. It's almost 3 hours of runtime. I kept checking my watch, not because I thought the movie was too long and I was bored, but I'm like, that's all the time we have left, because there's so much going on. I mean, the whole Assassin's Guild, that's lifted up to a whole nother level. I mean, beyond the Godfather level. The opening of the movie, I'm telling you, those fight scenes look like, if you've ever, because I know we talk about this, watching Kung Fu theater on Saturdays, every single thing bumped up to a high level. I mean, everything from the cinematography to all that, because it starts out in Osaka, Japan, actually. So they are at the Continental in Osaka, Japan. That
Oh
is
my
where it
god!
starts. That
Oh
is
my
where it
god!
starts. And
Oh
it
my
goes from there to New York, like to Paris. And the ending scene, the ending part, it all boils down to something reminiscent of a Wild West shootout. Where the sheriff and the bad guy, I mean, the callback to the best spaghetti westerns is
oh
what it
my
boils down to. The crowd, number one, everyone in the theater totally got into this movie. Everything. I mean, from the shots, from the jokes, from the stunts. There's even oh my gosh, first of all, there's a dog in here. Again, there's a dog in here, which everybody
god!
loves the dog. There's a product placement in here for a flamethrower that is, and I have to pull this from Valiant Renegade, one of the best product placements ever. And there's a scene where, I kid you not, if you've ever played first person shooter video
Uh-huh.
games, like kind of like the side slider or whatever, cinematography is exactly the same. The camera angle on this sucker, this movie basically has upped the game for cinematography, for stunts, for costuming, because there's even hotter outfits in this film. Not only just the suits, but also when they go to Japan. So they, even with that, those traditional costumes. There's a
No.
costume change in there. Oh my God, this chick's kimono was so bad, but nothing compared to what you will eventually see on her. And again, you've got a female in there doing martial arts moves as a woman would do. Very much a callback to Halle Berry. So I'm not spoiling anything. You've seen the stuff in the trailers. It's also a triumph of amazing storytelling, and it's, you get hooked into this story, and it doesn't let go of you. There are profound lines dropped in this movie, like, I'm paraphrasing, friendship is nothing if it's convenient.
Oh my gosh, it's like, are these Asian words of wisdom? Haikus, maybe?
That one, I'm not sure if it is or if it isn't, but that one was actually spoken by an Asian actor, and I'm blanking on his name, Shirazuki.
Oh
Basically,
my
he
god.
was Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god. Oh my
In the
god.
Mortal Kombat movie, the one that came out last year, yeah, he was Scorpion. He's
Yes,
freaking,
yes.
yeah, he was in that as well. And the movie, I'm telling you, go look up your classics. You're going to be wanting to go back and read Dante's Inferno. There's
Wow.
so much in this film, so much toxic masculinity in it in a good way. You know, there is nothing but just nonstop testosterone flying through this film. I mean, this scene right here with the nunchucks, perfect. Absolutely perfect. People in the theater were losing their freaking minds when they saw Keanu get the nunchucks and go for it. It is,
I didn't
I
know
mean, I
he
can't
even knew how
say
to
enough.
use nunchucks, Lorena. They're not easy to use.
No, and he's flinging those things around like he knows how to use them. We're like, oh shoot, it's on, you know, because he like picked them up, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take this because he's tucking from somebody. And people were like, does he really know how to use it? And man, after he jacked somebody up and he got him in place, we're like, oh yeah, he knows how to use it. Game on, let's go, let's go. I'm telling you, this film was so good. People were clapping, yelling, screaming, covering their eyes, all in a good way because we were just so into this film. This film is so good. Actually, I plan to go back and watch it on Wednesday. And I'm actually going to watch it in IMAX. The IMAX theater is further away from where I live. I plan to watch the
Uh-huh.
sucker in IMAX. Not only that, but as soon as this sucker is available on 4K DVD, I want the whole box set. John Wick 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. It is this right here. Oh my gosh. The owner of the Continental and the concierge, which is his daughter.
Oh
She
my
is, oh my
god.
gosh, she is bad. Yes, Hiroyuki Sanada. Yes, I keep blanking on his name. It's getting on my nerves.
Think
He is
parking
awesome.
mad.
He is so awesome. There's a scene between him and Donnie Yen. That's all I'm gonna say. It is it is something for the ages to see. Oh, you can? Oh shoot, John Tim I gotta order it then. But I'm telling you, the costuming when they go to Osaka, just the cinematography, the setting, everything. It's just absolutely beautiful. I could not get enough of this film. Um, stay for the end credits. Stay for the end credits. If anything, just to see how much work went into this film from uh from everyone. And of course, yeah, we have Winston, and next to him is oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He's French. He's the head of the Marquis, actually known
Right.
as the French High Table.
Oh,
French High
look
Table.
at
So
the
that is
tailoring right now.
can I just tell you, suits are lingerie for men. And
Yes.
in this whole movie, I'm like, whew, damn. I mean, you just slick tailoring for everyone, even down to how he is, because we know the French are extra about their fashion, and they
Yeah.
definitely brought it with this, with the way that it looks. So he was great. That's another Skarsgård. I believe Alexander Skarsgård's. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to guess. I don't want to assume that's his brother, but I do believe that it is. He is a Skarsgård
Yeah.
as
I
well, right
forgot
there at the
about that.
to Ian McShane. The acting is great. They're literally toe for toe. It's freaking it's awesome. This dude, this baddie right here. I hated him and loved him at the same time. But yes, he is the Marquette, and I'm telling you, his muscle that he has with him, no joke. So
I'm just
much bulletproof suits, so many
oh,
bulletproof suits in this.
my mouth is watering just looking at what I'm seeing, Lorena. I haven't even seen the film. And
This
between you and what Tom Jr. Jackson have been telling me about this film, about the cinematography, about the way it was shot, about the fighting scenes, about just even the settings, these incredible, everything about it is just so miraculous, so incredible that the 3 hours go by like in a heartbeat. Um,
yes.
and he's saying it's Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise and played the Marquette.
Oh,
And thank
okay. I didn't know
Tom
he did
Hughes
that.
Jackson and Read by Nature, just how incredible this film is. Lorena, Catherine Cook, who's a big friend, a big time action expert here at the PGS. She has gone to see this film. She kept saying, I'm going to see the film again. I'm going to see the film again. I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't she already see this film? And she's like, it's time number 4. I have a feeling she's going to end up seeing this film maybe 10 times in the theater, Lorena. And I haven't been seeing anybody doing that since Spider-Man No Way Home. No one's been doing that since then. No one's been going to see movies over and over again like that. She enjoyed this so much. Just even the reception of it and how they're like, this can't be the end. There has to be more. We have to keep expanding this. This is just unbelievable. The reception alone, Lorena, the critics love it. The fans love it. No one is giving a thumbs down on this film. I haven't seen a film do this ever. What is it about this film, Lorena, that it's what is it? It's absolute perfect movie magic. Lorena, how did you feel after seeing this film?
I felt sad, mad, happy, and satisfied all at the same time. For those of you who've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a movie that takes you through so many feels. I will say that it's akin to how you felt, or how, at least how I felt after seeing Infinity War, because that was a Marvel film like we had never seen before. I walked out of that film like, I can't, I'm like, I don't know what to think, what to feel, but I do know that it's like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. But that's exactly how you felt when you left. They needed exactly those 3 hours to wrap up um, the John Wick series of films, and they did it with an excruciating attention to detail. The audience, even if you hadn't seen the movie before, you would get emotionally invested right away. There are no throwaway characters. Every character has a purpose. Every mini storyline in here has a purpose. Every fight scene has a purpose, just with different moves, different locales, different weapons. It was so many things. It's what we're hungry for. We want to be entertained on screen. We want to see things that we haven't seen before, or even if it's things that we have seen before, they're like goat level. Like when you're thinking, when to see all the mirrors and everything, you're thinking of Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. When you see the fight scene between Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada, the setting is that classic old school martial arts film where there's a bridge and there's the water and there's the moonlight off the
Yes,
water, and
yes.
they're on opposing sides and they ground themselves before they go. Yeah, it's stuff we want to see. Huge, big budget. Give us the thrills. Give us the explosions, the weapons. We want to see the hero barrel his way through. See the hero get his ass kicked, and there are several parts in this movie where he did. And Donnie Yen's character, you'll probably see this a little bit later. Anyone who watches martial arts movies know when you see the blind samurai, some ish is about to go down. And Donnie Yen's
Yes, yes,
character was
the
blind. I'm
cloak.
like, oh, shoot. His method of fighting as a blind assassin, oh my
Yes.
gosh. It was it was just something else. It was just fun. It's not for the little kiddies. The teenagers
No.
will probably sneak in to see this. It's it's okay, but not okay to sneak in, but okay for them to actually see. It is violence. It's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll, stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, it is. There's so much rewatchability because you have a realistic hero, and it boils down to a simple yet universal message, and you're not being preached to at all.
Right. Right. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so excited over this.
Donnie Yen, I mean, I'm telling you, he's got that outfit. It's very reminiscent of Bruce Lee.
Mhm.
Very
Mhm.
reminiscent of Bruce Lee. And I know they did that on purpose. Hiroyuki Sanada, he's got on, a Western style suit, but he also has a Japanese style um, robe for men, beautiful blue silk with the water pattern on it. Telling you. Who, if this movie does not win several Oscars, it will probably sweep. Not probably would. Yeah, I'll say probably will sweep the Golden Globes next year. I mean, this is I can't even begin to describe it. It reminds me of the action movies that the 80s were renowned for.
Wow, really? Oh my
Really,
god. And listen to what
really.
some of the people are saying in the chat here. Max Relax says, "Although you've convinced me to get some new clothes soon, I need to get my wardrobe up to spec." Guys, we are looking at you hard. You don't know. And it's not that I
Look
don't
at
like jeans and
this.
t-shirts. I will still look if you're wearing jeans and t-shirts. But if you throw a suit on, we will look a little bit harder. I promise you. Lorena,
Mm-hmm.
clearly the costuming, the setting, this was very carefully planned and executed. The production team did a fantastic job here. I mean, this is very smooth, very slick, and we expect this from a John Wick film. We expect all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, and it looks like that's what's going on here. It's just so incredible to see this. Lorena, I'm so excited to see this film. As you know, I kind of had a little emergency, so I could not go ahead and see the film like I would have liked to. But boy, I can't. People are just boasting about how incredible this film is. There's so much that they're saying about it. First of all, it's the chatter has been constant. The chatter has been constant. I have been seeing just positivity all over this. Here's an article. It says Lionsgate, Joe Drake wants to see Keanu Reeves in more John Wick picks after Chapter 4 franchise record box office debut. We're not ready to say goodbye. There's a picture of them together where he's
Mm-hmm.
saying they had much to celebrate with $137 million. That's just an incredible amount of money for this arguably being the swan song of Reeves' martial arts maestro title character in the core canon. He says, we're not ready to say goodbye. This is supposed to be the swan song. It's not going to be a swan song. It's what alternative there will be. Clearly, they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that this is not a swan song. We're almost guaranteed another film career or something, some kind of spin-off, something from this, because it's been such an incredible, lucrative experience. I also want to go to Rotten Tomatoes here, where they're talking about it, how incredible it is. The response, sorry, that's showing a sneaker there. Weekend box
Don't.
office results destroys competition with best franchise opening. TikTok, Mr. Wick fans of John definitely do not have him on the clock. They've shown that not only are they ready for each subsequent entry in the series that has upped its game in every outing, but they are bringing in new converts as well from its humble beginnings as a moderately successful action film
Mm-hmm.
that have upped their grosses, upped their profits, international hauls. John Wick has proven to be one of those rare franchises like Mad Max and Mission Impossible that only seem to be getting better as they go. Much like the bounty on Wick's head, the numbers only continue to rise, Lorena. It's just so incredible. If we even look at whatever it has the thing, I don't always look at Rotten Tomatoes rankings, but my goodness, where is it? 95%.
You could not
Chris,
ignore this. You couldn't ignore this film. I went to a Thursday preview. Thursdays, there's hardly that many people in the theater. Oh no, not this Thursday. When I went to go see John Wick, there were plenty of people. in that theater. There was so much buzz about this. You really could not ignore it, and the critics couldn't really ignore this. I mean, the concept itself was fresh from the first one, but the fact that they were able to create this film, which did not bore it wasn't boring at all, and kept to amazing storytelling. It's just like, look, you can find little nitpicks in it, but overall, this film is one of the rare films that I would give like a 10 out of 10 to. I
Well,
really
this
would.
is so incredibly impressive. And I have to say, Lorena, after you boasting about it, guys, please do go to Lorena's channel and watch her review. She has probably more than one review, but she has a review where she came directly out of the theater, right out of the theater after having seen the movie. And it was so impressive. People are talking about this film and they haven't stopped talking about it. And it's just been such a great experience. I'm so happy for Keanu Reeves, for the entire production team of what they're able to pull off. We know
Mm-hmm.
these films are not easy to make. They are not easy to execute this. And he has kind of dedicated a good portion of his life to becoming a better martial artist, a better actor. I think that, Keanu has to be commended for doing something that's just so extraordinary in his work and really just providing something to us that we desperately want. We want this. This is something, a film that we've all been craving. Lorena, you mentioned the toxic male element to this and how much we
Mm-hmm.
love to see this side of men on screen. We love seeing this. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And clearly, men enjoy it too. I think it's a win-win situation. I love to
Mm-hmm.
see Keanu dressed up in these suits, and we like to see all the men in the show dressed to their very best. It's a lot of fun to see stuff like this, but we also love the action. The action sequences, I think, here someone says top to down angle made me think of old school GTA. Tom
Yeah.
Jr. Jackson commentated. That's Read by Nature, talking about the shot scenes there. And then, of course, Tom Jr. Jackson, who went and talked about how excited he was to go see this film, how the action scenes were so extraordinary, how much he enjoyed it, how fast the time went by, and how he thought, gee, I really enjoyed this film. And as I told you about Catherine Cook, who is another PGS
Mm-hmm.
member, Catherine, a commentator, film pundit, who mentioned how she kept going to see the film, and I kept having to check the message. Wait a minute, didn't she already see the film? She's like, I'm going to see it for the fourth time. I'm telling you, Lorena, I wouldn't be surprised if she'd go to see it 10 times in a row. I think that this is really very interesting. I think that they certainly have struck a nerve when it comes to what the audience wants to see and what the critics want to see. Here, one
Mm-hmm.
guy is saying, Reed is saying, my sister who insisted I take her to see the film was more eager than I was. LOL. Well, you know something, Read by Nature, there's a reason why ladies are flocking to this film. And I have a feeling, certainly here is, guys, check out Lorena's review of the film straight out of the theater, right
Yes,
after she.
thank you. If you don't want to be spoiled, the first part is non-spoiler, and I give you plenty of warning when I get into the spoiler part. So thank you, Tom Jr. Jackson.
Guys, please do check it out. I watched up to the just the non spoiler portion, as you know, Lorena, because I myself haven't even seen it. I haven't had a chance to. But boy, this is so exciting. It's so wonderful. Donnie Pearson, hello. And I have to say, Lorena, it really is such a pleasure to see when you have friends who've seen a film, you're excited about a film, and it is what you were hoping for. This is exactly the type of theater going experience we're hoping for in entertainment. And as entertainment critics or analysts or whatever you want to call us, since that's what you and I are doing, pretty much here
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, it's exciting to see how excited people are about quality entertainment. It's so much fun. So happy for what they've accomplished. And honestly, it's something I think that we all needed to see. I think that sometimes when you see a film like this, it really does kind of lift your spirits and, really makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
better about entertainment. It's good for the business. I just want to say I'm just so elated and pleased as punch you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to see this film, Lorena. I don't remember the last time I saw 95% for both audience and for critics review. That's
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely fascinating, and it couldn't go to a more deserved cast and crew. And of course, we were mourning the death of
Absolutely.
Lance, but honestly,
Oh yeah, I will say, and I said this again, non-spoiler. Seeing Lance Riddick in this film, it's going to be a double gut punch. It really is. He's so good. He's so good. I'll leave it
wow.
at that.
We saw him get, kind of be even more active in the last film, Lorena. Where is it? I have it here. We saw him somewhat more active than we've seen him in the past in some of the other films. I didn't say view image, that's why. And I'm hoping, and of course I don't really know, but I was kind of hoping we would see a little bit more him equally active in this film, since he did take on it's a kind of a darker image because it's in the shadow. But there he is, of course, guys. It wouldn't be the same hotel without him. He plays such a big and important role here.
Mm-hmm.
It really is amazing. And thank you, Tough Medicine. Thanks so much. Um, so important for us to see these actors who we rely on for these performances. Not everybody can
Mm-hmm.
do this. It's true. Not everyone can do this. You can't pull an actor, just any actor, and do this. The training makes a big difference. The acting ability makes a big difference. And we're seeing that. We are actually seeing evidence of this in entertainment where we are expecting high quality, work for a film that does actually require an incredible amount of skill, an incredible
Mm-hmm.
amount of execution. This isn't any easy accomplishment. Yes, and this here is Read by Nature saying, couldn't agree more. Been wanting to see good old action films make a resurgence for a while now, and that's for someone who is invested heavily in the MCU. And those old school films, they went and they got like some of the greatest martial artists, some of the greatest MMA artists.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, their whole lives they spent training to do this stuff. It's no, Mark, it's not a
No
spoiler.
spoilers. No spoilers. Let's put it this way. This film is so good that I'm telling you, if somebody spoiled it for me, I'd have to punch them in the throat. Really, I don't even. I'm just like extra careful with what I say. So no, we're not doing any spoilers. You guys deserve to go and see this film for just the wonderful experience that that it is. We just want to see good movies. We want to be entertained. We want to have our minds blown, literally, and we want to see lots of explosions. Exactly what it is.
And you all are making such good comments. Obviously
Mm-hmm.
I'm flashing, but I can't read all your comments because then Lorraine and I wouldn't be able to do the show because it is
No.
only a 1 hour show. But I did want to say that we are watching what you're saying. And, remember, Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. all the way. I say he is the reason why.
Yes.
He
Oh,
is the
that's my
reason
favorite.
that
Thank
particular
you.
character certainly is successful. As far as I'm concerned, he is full of charm and just a really great actor. So you got what I would call a very well accomplished dramatic actor playing a superhero role. And when you put someone with that much talent in a role, they just shine. And I would say the same for uh, Captain America Evans. I feel the same way about him as Captain America. So I did just want to say that, just to acknowledge that, guys. So we are seeing your comments, and certainly from what Lorena has said, from what Tom Jr. Jackson has said. Tom also has a review on his channel, and from what Catherine has said, by seeing the film for 4 times. Clearly, this is one you can't miss. Go and see it in the theater. Go ahead and treat yourself. I know some of you guys want to wait till it's streaming. Just go and see it. This is one you're not going to be disappointed in. You saw the numbers. I haven't heard anybody say don't go and see it. This might be one you enjoy. Go to the matinee. Go whatever time you want, but go ahead and make an outing of this film. I have a feeling it's going to be amazing. And yes, Mark, yeah, they're definitely getting another one. It's not going to
Yeah.
go
Man, this
for them.
it. You know what? It would have been perfect if they would have stopped with four. I
Mm.
mean,
Well, let's
literally, it's that good.
let's see what happens. I have a feeling they're not going to mess five up either. I have a feeling that they are going to be very careful about what they're doing, and it's not going to
Hmm.
be something that's rushed or haphazard. We know it's not going to be because we've seen what they've produced in 1 through 4. So I have confidence here after 4 films that they are
I
going to
do
produce.
as well. It's like, take off the time you want, but not too long.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that is very interesting that you should say that because they do have to take time to make sure that they are addressing what needs to be addressed in a John Wick film. It has to be very, very carefully done. And I have every confidence they are going to do that, Lorena and
Oh
chat.
yeah,
I have a feeling that that
absolutely.
is going to be the case. And I did, unfortunately, I have to switch gears. I have no choice, Lorena. I don't want to stop talking about John Wick because I could talk about Keanu Reeves and John Wick for days. I could just keep talking about that forever. So, and I think you and I could probably talk about it all night. But we do have two other topics that we are going to touch on tonight, and of course that has to do with something major that you brought to my attention last week, Lorena. We didn't talk about it then, but we are going to talk about it now because it just is, it hasn't gone away, and it has to do with Victoria Alonso. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah. You just have to take a deep breath. Um, this is,
This. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead,
Go
Burnett.
ahead.
No, I was going to
This
say
is
this
really,
is extremely unexpected.
yeah. Yeah, this really has turned into something that I would say what looks like a case of double dipping to me. I mean, we know it happens. We know it happens.
Hmm.
You pay a fine. You do something wrong. I did it wrong. Here's my penance. But the attitude about this for her, unfortunately, I think the direction of a lot of the decisions that she, let's say, allegedly made, if a good portion of these were her decisions, they weren't decisions that were the best for Marvel. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Everybody has ideas. I don't know what her ideas were. I know that she said she wanted to do certain things. And let's just say, if we put it into perspective, she got into power and wanted to do certain things with a franchise, and she did it. And
Hmm.
they were not, the franchise didn't perform the way it had performed before she got on board. This is correct,
Correct.
right? Yeah. And so, with that being said, as someone who is the head of the franchise, or let's say someone who's more towards the top of the franchise, someone who has influence over the decisions that are made, someone who has influence over the direction the franchise is going, someone who has an influence over who stars in what roles, what the characters are going to be like, someone who has influence over whether or not you listen to the fans and what they want to see, someone who has influence over the feedback when they show the film to those first people who get to see the film and whether it's going to actually go through or not, right? She had influence all over all of those decisions. And unfortunately, she wasn't really able to pull it together to a point where, let's say, it was a successful venture. At least I don't think it was successful. And the reason why I don't think it was successful is not necessarily for the money. It's the fan reaction, where the fan reaction wasn't what it could have been. It could have been that the fans loved it and people didn't come out to see it, which happens. It happens in films. Maybe it didn't make a billion or whatever, but the fan reaction also was not what it had been in the past. And to be honest with you, I think that in her particular case, they were looking for something to get rid of her at this point. That's how I see it. I think stuff like this has happened before. As I said, it's double dipping, and they get in trouble in their contract. Sometimes you get fired, sometimes you don't. But here they're saying it's indisputable, essentially saying they don't even want to work with her. If it's indisputable, Lorena, that type of a comment from the press is saying they don't want to work this out. I mean, hell, they worked out a bunch of contracts last year, but I don't really have confidence that if her team were to walk over and say, hey, let's work this out, I don't have that confidence that it will work out. Lorena, what do you think about all of this debacle?
Well, one, I was surprised that someone as high as she was, her level, got fired when this news broke, which I believe it broke. Was it last? Was it? I think it was that. I think it was Monday that it broke. Someone that higher up, um, basically, effectively getting kicked out of Disney. When I look at the quality of Phase 4 as a whole, it is indisputable that the quality is nowhere near the level of three, definitely not the level of two, and definitely not the level of one, because I believe one and two were mostly over, like over with Fox. Three was kind of like that bridge between Fox and Disney. And then the fourth one was exclusively Disney. Phase four, quality wise, it was awful. I didn't like it. A lot of fans, expressed their displeasure about it. You had some people in the House of Marvel pushing back, on the fans, trying to basically shame them for not liking it. But all of that aside, what is not indisputable is how much money these Phase Four movies did not make compared with the others. And with Phase Five, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, I went to see that, and nowhere near the uh, the quality of the previous phases of the MCU. So it's disappointing when you're a comics fan and you go and you see a Marvel movie, and it's just like, this is not entertaining. This is not interesting, to me. And the quality, it's definitely got to the point where someone had to go down with the ship, and it wasn't going to be Kevin Feige. So at least that was what I understood when this news first dropped. Now, when you started to hear things about her double dipping with Argentina, 1985, and and all of that, and supposedly that she was going to sue. And there was a leading article, I believe, the Hollywood Reporter. The first thing that they lead with is her sexual orientation and her ethnicity. It's like, it's not about that. Either you can do the job or you cannot do the job whatsoever. So if she does sue, suing Disney is kind of like trying to boil the ocean. Let's be honest. Disney has a ton, no matter how good your lawyer is, Disney has enough money to keep that lawsuit going for decades until you run out of money. It's something that they do. So, if she does sue, that discovery is going to be real interesting to find out if she was fired for, just to have someone be the scapegoat, or was she fired for cause? And
Mhm.
that's something that's going to have to be figured out. But I will say the general attitude that I'm seeing is, we're not going to miss her. No
Yeah.
one's really going to miss her. She's, from even from what I remember, a lot of what happened with Wakanda Forever, she's kind of on the hook for that, especially with her saying that she wants Phase Four, and we nickname it the MCU, not because it's just a nickname or a pejorative to use, but with Victoria Alonso basically saying point blank, wanted 50% of those movies to be female driven, not story driven,
Right.
just female driven. And did not go over well. So if she does sue again, suing Disney's like boiling the ocean. It'll be interesting to see what comes out. Although I have seen on Twitter, I cannot verify, but I believe through Puck News, there's reports that she is supposedly going to settle with Disney, which would really be in her best interest to settle. But she settles with Disney. Guess what? That settlement she can't talk about. She will not be able to talk about what happened.
And what also is very interesting, Lorena, and we're kind of hitting on the same mark here, just to kind of touch on this again. This type of situation is not a situation where they necessarily want to talk to her and bring her back, at least not at this point. This feels like one of those, you know, negotiations where they're just trying to figure out how much does she owe them, how much does she have to pay them, so they don't get upset with her and pretty much bring a lawsuit against her, more or less, for doing what she did, which I
Mm-hmm.
guess they could counter sue and say that. But to be honest with you, Lorena, sometimes this stuff does happen, like the producers, whatever your, executives sign on to things, not realizing
Mm-hmm.
that it's also under a different contract, but usually it's worked out. And in this particular case, we're not necessarily hearing that. I think that there were a lot of creative differences issues. This might be an actual situation of creative differences, and they were looking for something perhaps to kind of get her, released from this contract, so to speak, if you will, if you want to call it firing, whatever it is. They want to, in a sense, have her, away from the production team. And this production
Mm-hmm.
team is huge when it comes to influence. And we all remember when she came on board, Lorena. I think you and I were on a stream together or something, and they talked about how she made that speech about how proud she was. But unfortunately, it could have worked if it had a story that people loved. And, I think that it was a huge missed opportunity for her in that regard. You get all this power, you get all this stuff, you know, go ahead and hire the best writers you can find. Go ahead and tell your team, I want to do this, but I want it to be this way. You don't have to exclude other groups. You could still make all those other films that were in the pike, but go ahead and make your film and make it one of the most incredible films you've ever made, something that you can be incredibly proud of. And we haven't necessarily been getting anything like that. People have been working hard to get these films out, but certainly in Quantumania, Lorena, Modoc's appearance truly
He
was
looked
not
like
anything.
Annoying Orange. And I've watched Annoying Orange, and it's actually pretty funny. But yeah, it's just like the effects were not up to par. You and I, we've seen, like, for example, Brahmastra, Indian film, and the special effects look better than anything that Marvel has put out of late. It's like, why is that? Considering it's Marvel, and it's just a shame. But as the C-suite executive games go, somebody's got to go down. Wasn't going to be Kevin Feige. So this is
No.
who they set up a good, I will say, good enough for HR internally to have the confidence to go ahead and fire her. So if she was fired for cause no severance or whatever is going, I know is going down, that she would get, but it would actually be in her best interest to set, to settle this, because it's not like she's going to be unemployed forever or something like that. No, 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 no. She'll This is how Hollywood works. She'll go over to someone else. But yeah, I cannot say that I would really miss her. Some people might. That's okay. That's okay. But when I look at the quality of Marvel, I'm just like, it's not there, especially the decline of Marvel, especially with stories and with VFX. I can't talk today.
It's okay, you're doing great. No, you are absolutely right. And something, even aside from, let's say, personal differences and all this sort of stuff, it would have been great to have seen what she could have done, if it was done right.
Yeah.
I wanted to see something on the level or quality of John Wick. That's what I want to see with the bankroll that they use for these films. I know that there's
Hmm.
potential to do it, but we just didn't get that level with people and the responses. Certainly, unfortunately, we didn't get that. But the potential to do it was there, and even the potential to say, "Hey, okay, this is not working. Let's see what else we can do and get this working. Let's try some different options." So maybe her plan, although it was with good intentions, maybe not the best choice for Marvel, but maybe a better choice somewhere else. Who knows? But I honestly think that a lot of those films were not the greatest, in my opinion, anyway. They got
They
made, but that's about it for me.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, they got me. They weren't, they weren't the best. And when you're asking consumers to put out their hard-earned money to go and see your films, that's not something to be, that's not something to be taken lightly. And when your films are just not pulling people in, it's like, why should I drop $20? I mean, every studio has a stinker every now and then. It just,
Yes,
it just
yes.
happens. It's like if
We're
it's
not
good
expecting
movie,
perfection.
bad movie, good movie, we kind of get that, and we can forgive that. But how many movies were in Phase 4,
I
including
think I'm sorry, go ahead.
the shows on Disney Plus?
Mhm, mhm. I think the one that most disappointed me that I felt had the biggest potential was WandaVision. And it's not I don't feel like
Yes,
WandaVision was a complete failure. I don't feel that way. I think that some of the decisions that were made on WandaVision, because it was so different, the television, and I'm like, this is really
I
cool. This
love
is very
that.
innovative. It started off so cool, and the
Hmm.
ending was okay. I think, we needed to see that she had to have some kind of repercussion at the end. And I think that sometimes when we're just kind of told the story and we don't get that payoff, or let's say punishment at the end, from what
Hmm.
we would expect to see, it doesn't necessarily have that satisfying feel. Did I think they needed to lock her up in prison? No. They've already done that to her in Age of Voltron, or one of the other films where they were like, you can't
Yeah,
leave the house.
Age of
Remember?
Ultron. Yeah, I
And
was expecting, this was just me, especially since I've read the comics, Scarlet
Mhm.
Witch, Vision and Scarlet Witch. I was halfway expecting Mephisto to show up. And if you say, basically, here's the deal you made with me. If you want these kids, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And it may have come to the point where, in order to restore everyone back her memories, that she would have to give up her children. But to actually show that, what's the consequence that you're going to have to pay for? Not walk away, for lack of a better term, scot free. That just, they didn't stick the landing, on that, and I gave them plenty of leeway because it was the first one, and there was so much good stuff in there. It
so
was kind of
good. They
perplexing about
you
how it ended.
Do you remember when you found out that, like at first you didn't know what was going on, and then you saw the whole group of them watching her, and you're like, oh my God, she's taking over. Like, it was so cool to really kind of lose that flavor. And then I think they also had a misstep in Doctor Strange Part Two, which for the most part was an okay film, but you and I both know, as far as I'm concerned, I think what could have happened, or what they could have done is Wanda kind of kidnapping America Chavez, because America Chavez had that power, right? That could kind
Hmm.
of thwart what Wanda could do. And so my first thought is like, Wanda's not going to stand for this. She needs to kind of take her away. And Doctor Strange has to go ahead and rescue her. I thought it'd be kind of interesting, and let Wanda have a win on that film, and come back with a
Hmm.
Doctor Strange 3 where he has to find out where the hell this chick is. He trusted her in the cabin, and now she's betrayed him. Like, there's so many things that could have happened. But something, the films were made, and
Hmm.
yeah, it is. It has it's not sort of a simple situation. What we do know is that she had an idea, and the idea, honestly, I didn't really feel like I benefited from the idea or enjoyed it. I would have liked some of the things she did to have succeeded. I wanted to see these things succeed. And we didn't get that satisfying feeling that you got from, let's say, in John Wick 4, or us watching John
Hmm.
Wick's 1 through 3. We didn't have that feeling about it, and it's too bad. Honestly, at least that's how I'm looking at it. Victoria Alonso is going to be fine.
Yeah, she's
She'll
gonna
get
be
another job, as she said.
perfectly fine.
She's done very well. Maybe she'll use some of that bankroll to make more films that she wants to make, and that's fine too. We wish her all the best. But it's unfortunate that she wasn't successful in this endeavor. And I think when she wasn't successful after one film, they should have given her one chance and then gone to the next choice.
Agreed.
That's what used to
Agreed.
happen before a lot, right? You remember someone
Hmm.
gave film. It didn't work. Okay, we're going on to the next director or whatever it is. So that's what I'm saying, at least how I feel about it. I wish her all the best. Maybe she'll be successful somewhere else, guys. That is something to think about. But she won't necessarily be successful with this group. And she had plenty of time, a great opportunity. So I also don't feel necessarily bad for her because she had an opportunity to work with a franchise that everybody wants to work with. So,
Exactly. A franchise with plenty of, fan goodwill,
mhm,
that's there. And when you compare, like, say, those particular films with Spider-Man No Way Home,
right.
it's kind of you can kind of see what's going on there.
So
But
I
she'll be
think that,
fine. She'll be fine.
yeah, absolutely. I think it is very interesting how you and I are kind of looking at this from that point of view, mainly because from her point of view, guys, remember, in her point of view, she's been very successful because she made the film. So sometimes for some people, it is enough to just having had made the film. And I'm certainly
Hmm.
not going to thwart her ideas and whatever she wants to do. She's as a creator, she's allowed to do whatever she wants to do. So that is true. But I'm simply saying she might find success elsewhere. I didn't interpret her involvement as a success. And let's just, we're all wishing her the best going forward. So that's what I think both Lorraine and I are really honestly saying, although we would have liked to have seen more successful films and things
Yeah.
from Wanda and everything too. So guys, we have one more topic we're going to discuss tonight. I'm looking for a decent article. I can't seem to find this decent article about him. Gosh, one of the biggest stars right now. Boy, this guy is getting a lot of attention. Jonathan Majors. Certainly, you can't turn right or left without seeing a movie with Jonathan Majors in it. He was in Devotion. He was in Magazine Dreams. He was in Creed. Um, just to name a few. Of course, he was in Quantumania. And he's playing one of the major players, Kang, one of the major baddies in the universe, in the
Hmm.
multiverse. Everybody knows who this character is, especially like you. If you've read the comics, Lorena, he's very well known. Only to kind of get this disappointing news, which I personally feel that it almost, I don't know whether it's a setup. I'm not even quite sure what to think about it. From what they're saying, there's video. I'm just trying to get a decent article that doesn't keep uh, making it small on the
Putting up
page.
pop-ups.
Yeah, they almost know it. They're like, oh, RM's going to be broadcasting at this time. Let's just give her as many pop-ups as possible. Maybe this one will work. Okay, this one seems to work. It's The Guardian.
I got that
Um,
one. Yeah, when this particular news broke,
yes.
uh it was interesting seeing well, Twitter's a dumpster fire anyway, with what's going on. A lot of, like, how could he do this, and, well, he was arrested, and it's like, folks, it's innocent until proven guilty. Anybody can be arrested for probable cause. You ever watch the TV show Cops? We see that all the time. People are like, you're a suspect, we got to arrest you. Guess what? We don't have enough evidence to hold you. Then you can go. Arrest does not equate with conviction or indictment. Those are two different things. And domestic disputes, they're very, very tricky. Usually somebody has to go to jail. Sometimes it's not the person who should be going to jail, but it does happen. So it's more of just waiting for the facts to come out.
Yeah, this is something that I think has to be tread very carefully. And it's unfortunate that this is even happening. And of course,
Yeah.
as we of us who are kind of looking at this, I just love that Yoda. I'm sorry, I just love the
Okay.
vehicle.
Okay. Oh, I'm not. I'm
Um,
not looking at the. I'm not looking at the
this is
building.
what happens,
No.
guys. I'm so sorry. I promise you, I'm going to change this whole thing around so we won't see stuff like that anymore. But what I did want to mention is, this is the reason why I think some Hollywood actors were saying that they don't date anybody because they don't want to be in a position where somebody says, "Hey, this happened to me," and now you're putting this actor into a very difficult situation. Here it says that the U.S. Army ads have stopped doing the ads temporarily until they find out what's going on. But Jonathan Majors is a rising star. He's one of the biggest stars right now, and I don't even know how to really process all this until there's an investigation that's put out on
Hmm.
this. So I guess that's
Hmm.
really kind of my response to this, is that there needs to be an investigation on this one in particular, because gee, it's affecting so many franchises, Lorena. Just the Creed franchise, the franchise, obviously Marvel's
Hmm.
complete beginning of this new phase. This is kind of a big deal, and it happened over the weekend. So you know how things go over the
Hmm.
weekend. Not exactly, everything worked out, but I think it's going to take some time for us to really find out. I don't know whether it's really appropriate to compare her to some other stars. People are saying that there's a famous star who's in a film that's coming out, and they
Hmm.
didn't even question, or at least not even think about what's going on with him. Well, they kind of did question him, the guy, a lot about his erratic behavior, but Jonathan Majors does not have the erratic behavior of that guy. So I don't think there's any fair comparison to that. All I'm going to say is I hope that this thing gets worked out, and that from what I understand, maybe the person who alleged that he did these things has now recanted it. Whatever it is, Lorena, they've got to work this out and figure out what to do. If it's true, I hope he gets help. If not, I hope it just works out. We don't want to see these sad things happen to actors. This is not cool. And if it really did happen, it's also not cool for the woman who might be the victim here. It is kind of a sad story, and I kind of feel bad that we even have to talk about it.
Yeah, it really is. So hopefully we'll get the facts that will come out, and hopefully people will have the patience to wait for those facts to come out.
Yes. And this was, somebody makes a good point in there before we go, because we only have a few seconds. I hope this doesn't lead to delaying or any of that sort of stuff. Let's hope that doesn't occur again. We already had to deal with the big P that delayed everything. And now I hope that this doesn't really, I hope this is rectified and worked out. And like I said, if he did it and gets help, fine. If the victim, hopefully they're in recovery. If this actually did happen, whatever the alleged thing was, let's just hope that the right thing happens from this point going forward. And it's dealt with. And I just praying that it works out. So Lorena, thank you for joining me tonight for today's Ladies of the
Welcome as
PG.
always.
Lorena, where can people find you?
Well, folks, you can find me on Twitter, causing all kinds of mayhem and mischief. You can also find me on Instagram. And of course, you can find me here on YouTube doing various videos, live streams about gaming, pop culture, films, anime, indie movies, all that stuff. Just stuff that I like. And sometimes it's myself, sometimes it's with guests. A lot of times it's with this lady over here as well. We do anime shows. We do toxic male appreciation as well. So a whole lot. So please do check out my channel. Consider subscribing, and above all, thank you guys so much for supporting Ladies of the PGS here on the Burnettwork.
Absolutely, guys. And Lorena is an expert on the parks. Every week she has streams from the parks. She also does special shows about the parks. If you have any questions about what's going on, Universal, Disney, sometimes even
Yes.
more, go ahead and check out Lorena's channel. You'll find out what's going on right now as she streams directly from the parks, goes into the shops, all the places you want to go. She gives you the 411. So please do check that out as well. And guys, please do subscribe to my channel. Please, thank you. Positive Fandom, where I do all the parlay in the fandom. I so appreciate the support that Lorena and I get here on Ladies of the PGS here on the Burnettwork.
Mhm.
And I will continue to stream with Lorena for watch parties, for whatever we're doing. We enjoy this. It's so much fun. bringing you whatever type of analysis of entertainment, because there's so much out there. We just enjoy it so much, and we appreciate all of you. Tom Jr. Jackson, my moderator, collaborator, and friend. We are all goof people, and check out Tom Jr. Jackson's channel as well. But also remember, you can find me streaming on the 1/6 Scale Man Network as well. So, guys, I hope you all had a great evening and day. Thank you for tuning in here to Ladies of the PGS. Lorraine and I so appreciate it. And remember, guys, no matter where you are in the galaxy, always remember to please be kind, guys. Take care,
Yes.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.